Hi there. Today I'll be driving the Volvo XC60. Now the Volvo is not exactly a hardcore 4x4. Yes, it's got an all-wheel drive system, but it does its best work on tarred surfaces. But don't let that put you off. It's got a couple of nice tricks up its sleeve. Originally released in 2008, the XC60 was updated a little while ago. Volvo describes the vehicle as a sleek SUV with an urban edge, and with its latest update, this on-road bias is now more evident than ever. Overall, not a lot has changed with this facelift, but some tweaks have nevertheless been made. The front end of the vehicle, for example, has been updated. The bonnet has been reshaped, and the grille is more refined and elegant than it was before. All the black pieces of trim have also been done away with, emphasizing Volvo's prioritization of urban cool over off-road ruggedness. Not that the XC60 is completely useless off the beaten path. As mentioned, it has an all-wheel drive system, as well as off-road aids such as hill descent control and a respectable amount of ground clearance. But still, with low profile tyres and a lack of low range, this Volvo isn't going to tackle any grade 5 obstacle. The interior of the XC60 has remained virtually unchanged, though very perceptive petrol heads might notice a handful of changes. There are new inlays scattered throughout the cabin and a new headliner. There are also new textile B-pillars and silk metal frames around the air vents and light controls. A new addition to the XC60 spec sheet is the option of paddle shifters that slot in behind the SUV's 3-spoke steering wheel and can be used to work one's way through the gears of the 6-speed automatic transmission. Arguably one of the XC60's most mind-bending new features is the active high beam control, which makes journeys in the dark safer and more comfortable. The technology eliminates the need to switch between low and high beam. Instead, active high beam control makes it possible to keep the headlights on full beam at all times. When another car approaches from the opposite direction, the system helps to prevent dazzling of the oncoming driver by shading out only as much of the beam as necessary. This is done by an ingenious projector module mechanism integrated into the headlamp. Another new piece of safety kit is the pedestrian and cyclist detection technology. New advanced software, including more rapid vision processing, has now made it possible to extend Volvo's previous pedestrian detection and auto brake technology to cover certain cyclist situations as well. The new pedestrian and cyclist detection with full auto brake is equipped with an advanced sensor system that scans the area ahead. If a cyclist heading in the same direction as the car suddenly swerves out in front of it and a collision is imminent, there is an instant warning and full braking power is applied. The technology also detects if a pedestrian steps out into the road in front of the car. If the driver does not respond in time, the car can warn the driver and automatically activate the brakes. The fact that the XC60 boasts some very impressive safety features is hardly surprising though. After all, Volvo has always been synonymous with vehicle safety. But how does the XC60 perform on the road? Prospective buyers have 2 petrol and 2 diesel engines to choose from. The first, the T5, is a 2-litre turbocharged petrol mill that offers 177 kilowatts of power and 320 Nm of torque. The second petrol engine, the T6, is a 3-litre power plant that delivers a whopping 224 kilowatts of power and 440 Nm of torque. The first diesel engine, the T4, is a 2-litre 5-cylinder oil burner that develops around 120 kilowatts of power and 400 Nm of torque. The final derivative, and the one that I'm driving at the moment, is the 2.4 litre D5 5-cylinder diesel. It's got around 160 kilowatt of power and 440 Nm of torque. It's not as powerful as the 224 kilowatt T6 petrol, but it has exactly the same amount of torque, and that torque is available from really low down on the rev range. You really feel that power when you put your foot down. The XC60 accelerates very nicely. That said, this isn't a vehicle that wants to be driven in anger. It's still a vehicle that does its best work when you just allow it to glide along. If you're going to be sitting in traffic a lot, or you're going to be hitting the open road, driving long distances, this is a great vehicle. cabin of the vehicle is fantastically quiet. It really is one of the most quiet diesel cabins I've ever been in, and the sound once you start accelerating is actually quite lovely. It's nothing like that normal chugging diesel engine that we're used to. It has this lovely sound that it makes when you start to accelerate. For a high-riding SUV, the XC60 also does pretty well in the bends. There's a bit of roll when you throw it into a corner, but overall it stays quite composed. The vehicle also has something called corner traction control, which is a torque vectoring system that helps the driver avoid understeer by applying just the right amount of brake force to the inner wheels, while at the same time powering the outer wheels when accelerating out of a corner. So what don't I like about the vehicle? Well, I'm not too crazy about the center console, and I keep changing the station when I want to change the volume on the steering wheel. But other than that, there's really not much. I suppose its biggest problem is that it doesn't have a German badge on the bonnet. In South Africa, like in Europe, buyers of premium vehicles are absolutely obsessed with German brands, and because of this they tend to overlook the Volvo when shopping around for vehicles. And that's quite a shame, because the XC60 is in my opinion one of the greatest vehicles in its class. If you're looking for a comfortable and very safe premium SUV, you really struggle to beat the XC60.